It was snowing that night, the kind of snow that makes everything quiet, soft, unreal. Michael sat in his car, his breath fogging the glass, listening to the sound of his daughter's voice echoing through his memory. "Dad, maybe it's better if you don't come for Christmas this year." He remembered every word, every pause, every breath. The way her tone changed when she said it. It wasn't anger. It was distance. And somehow that was worse. For 25 years, Christmas had been sacred. Not because of the gifts or the lights, but because it was theirs. Every year, Michael decorated the same old pine tree with his daughter, Sarah. Every year, he cooked the same dinner his late wife used to love. Every year, he felt like part of something that still mattered. Until that call. He had worked his entire life for her. 60-hour weeks, missed birthdays, missed vacations. He'd built a company from nothing just to give Sarah everything. Her college tuition, her wedding, her house. He had paid for it all. He had been the father who always said yes. And maybe that was his mistake. Because now, she didn't want him there. He sat still, hands trembling slightly. Outside, Christmas lights blinked from his neighbors' houses. Inside, the silence felt heavier than the snow. He didn't cry. He didn't even shout. He just smiled. A strange, quiet smile. Because he already knew what he was going to do. The next morning, he called his lawyer. "Let's do it," he said. "Are you sure, Michael?" came the cautious reply. "I've never been more sure in my life. Sell the company, all of it." He had been planning this for months. A clean break, a new beginning. For years, he had been everyone's provider, the man who fixed things. But no one had ever asked if he was okay. By Monday, the papers were signed. 30 years of work were reduced to a number on a screen, $8.2 million. Freedom, disguised as money. He sat in his quiet house that night, surrounded by trophies of a life well lived but never really felt. The office awards, the pictures of Sarah smiling on her graduation day, the Christmas ornaments his wife had painted before she died. "I did everything for you," he whispered, and maybe that was the problem. 3 days before Christmas, Michael listed his house for sale. He donated half his furniture, kept only what fit into 3 suitcases. When the real estate agent came, she looked confused. "You're moving out before Christmas?" He nodded. "Sometimes you have to leave before the snow melts." He gave away his luxury car, kept his old pickup, and booked a one-way ticket to Portugal, the place his wife had always dreamed of seeing. That night, he poured himself a glass of wine and wrote 2 letters, one to Sarah, one to himself. "Dear Sarah, I love you more than anything, but I realize I've been teaching you the wrong lesson. I taught you that love means always being available. That love means fixing everything. But love also means knowing when to step back. If you ever need me, you'll find me where the sea meets the vineyard." Christmas morning came with silence. For the first time in decades, no phone calls, no laughter, no sound of wrapping paper. Just stillness. He cooked himself breakfast anyway, eggs, toast, black coffee, and sat by the window watching children play in the snow. They looked like joy personified. By noon, his phone started buzzing once, twice, then again. 58 missed calls, all from Sarah. He didn't pick up, not out of anger, but out of peace. When love becomes one-sided, silence is sometimes the loudest way to say enough. The next afternoon, the doorbell rang. Through the frosted glass, he saw her, Sarah, standing in the snow, tears streaming down her face. She looked smaller than he remembered. "Dad!" she shouted. "Please open up! I'm sorry!" He didn't move. He couldn't. Every instinct in him wanted to hold her, but he stayed still. Because love without respect isn't love. It's dependency. For 40 minutes she pleaded. Then she whispered, "I just wanted Christmas with you." When her footsteps faded, he closed his eyes. And for the first time, he didn't feel like a failure. He felt alive. Weeks passed. The house sold. The money cleared. He packed light, clothes, an old photo album, and a small box of ornaments his wife had painted. That was all he needed. The night before his flight, the doorbell rang again. Sarah was there, with her husband, Richard. "Dad, is it true? You sold the company?" "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you told me you didn't want me interfering in your life," he said softly. "So I didn't." She started crying. "I didn't mean that. I was angry. You were always trying to fix everything." "And I thought that's what love was," he interrupted gently. "But it's not. Love isn't control. It's respect." She whispered, "I thought you'd always be there." "I always was," he said. "But now it's time to be there for myself too." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a letter and a small snow globe. "When you shake it, remember, storms look beautiful from a distance, but you can't live inside one forever." She hugged him. For the first time, it wasn't a hug of need. It was gratitude. 6 months later, Michael sat on the porch of a small stone house overlooking the vineyards of Portugal. He had a simple life now, mornings with coffee, afternoons with books, evenings walking by the river. Every week, a letter arrived from Sarah, not asking for help, but sharing stories. She wrote about her job, her fears, her laughter, about how she and Richard were learning to communicate, about how she finally understood what her father had been trying to teach her all those years. Sometimes he cried reading them, not out of sadness, but because he finally felt seen. He had spent a lifetime building things, companies, stability, walls, and now he was building something invisible but infinite. Peace. On Christmas Eve that year, he lit a candle and looked at the snow globe. The little house inside looked a lot like his. He whispered, "Merry Christmas, Sarah." Then his phone buzzed. A video call. Her face filled the screen, glowing with warmth. "Hi, Dad," she said. "Merry Christmas." He smiled. "Merry Christmas, sweetheart." There were tears, laughter, silence, the kind of silence that heals instead of hurts. "Thank you for teaching me what love really means," she said. "And thank you," he replied softly, "for learning. Because sometimes losing everything isn't the end. It's just the beginning of becoming who you were meant to be. And sometimes 58 missed calls aren't desperation. They're love, finally learning how to speak." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional tales about love, redemption, and second chances. Tell us in the comments, would you have opened the door that night? Share this story with someone who needs to remember that sometimes letting go is the most loving thing you can do.